on TikTok. What's good, fam? Welcome back. Been a long time. Shouldn't have left you. Got a dope beat, step 2. Welcome back, YouTube. Welcome back, TikTok. We in the building. Let's go. It's another live this week. It's good to be back, ladies. All right, let's jump right in. So you saw the title of the video. Do you really want a masculine leader to follow? And depending on where you're watching, TikTok, YouTube, replays up later, title may vary. I only get like 50 characters on TikTok. What's good with that, fam? But anyway, you saw the title. Who is this conversation for? What is it about? I'm going to tell you like this, right? You know your worth. You know you'd rather be single than settle. You're tired of men who only want sex or have no future or family in sight for themselves or you. Now, one thing you do know is you are not going to have a man show up and tell you how to live your life when you've done just fine by yourself. If that applies to you, you're in the right place, ladies. Stay tuned and let's dive in. I am Duwayne Langham, the architect, teaching you the ways of masculine men and how to get what you want in your dating and relationships using your divine feminine energy. You have just tuned in for another live. Before we jump in and get into this discussion, what it means to submit and follow a masculine leader. Oh, he said it. The submission word, this one might be a problem. I'm going to have to be in and out quick, 30 minutes, nothing more, because otherwise they're going to have me burning on the stake. Anyway, before we get into all that, do me a favor. Do yourself a favor, actually. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Don't miss out on the latest videos. It helps the algorithms, tells all the guys. Let people know this content is value. Women need to see this. Men need to see this. Be the change you want to see in the world, because there is piss in the dating pool. Before we get in, grab yourself a copy, absolutely free, my ebook, Diving Deep into the Divine. This is going to give you the basics of what I'm talking about. My work is divine masculine and feminine energy, and if you want to get an understanding beyond just this video, to get an understanding of these universal laws, how they're at play in all of your relationship dynamics, familial, platonic, romantic, professional, doesn't matter, it's always at play. This book is absolutely free and will give you just the decoding, be able to see into the matrix type shit. It's got what you need. Make sure to drop your questions, comments down below. DM me directly. You've got questions. I've got answers. This is why I do this work. This is why I create these conversations here on these live discussions. So without further ado, let me answer the question of who this is for. This is going to be for my feminine women dating and seeking to find and keep a masculine leader worth following. Now, I know the submission is a touchy subject, but if he's worth following, ladies, isn't that the time? Isn't that the right place? I don't know. That's the debate. That's the discussion. Drop your comments down below. This is going to be for women who are ready to let go of being right and holding on to their past traumas with the wrong men, so that they can be prepared and understand the men that they want and how to get them. Ladies, I always talk about it here. If you're hunting, you got to have the bait. If you have the right bait for what you want, you can make it come to you. So if you want to understand the men that you want so that you can get what you want, you're in the right place. And last but not least, these are going to be the women who have had enough of being strong and independent, ready to relax, be taken care of by someone who sees their worth. Ladies, if that sounds good, again, you are in the right place. That is tonight's discussion. So, how are we going to get you prepared to receive the man of your dreams, to start building that happy and harmonious relationship together? Well, first I'm going to give you a bit of information. First, I'm going to help you understand, why is this happening? What are the circumstances? Where does it come from? And what leaves us in this position where you, as a woman, beautiful, feminine queen, or maybe working on getting in touch with your femininity, bringing that to the table, whatever the case may be. But you're in the place where finding a good man, a man that you don't mind submitting to, a man that is worth being called and deserves the recognition and honor of being a leader. Find him just one of those that you can follow. Why does this happen? Let's dive in. So, one thing that's happened, ladies, is that you've been indoctrinated into a society that doesn't value, honor, or acknowledge your feminine power and strength. I've had client after client literally tell me about their issues, their challenges, where they don't want to be beautiful, they don't want to be pretty. Why? Because they see it as weakness. Something, not in their mind, not in their head, in society, in propaganda, in media, amongst their siblings and their family, whatever the case may be, something told them somewhere along the way that being feminine, being beautiful, pretty, is seen as weakness. And that alone, it destroys me, especially inside of my work, because I have reverence and respect for the divine feminine. All the power that we cannot see, there's so much beneath the surface. So I can never stop speaking to that. But that's one of the first reasons, is that our modern society today has failed you as women, has failed us as men. We are all disconnected from the true roots of these universal laws and principles, divine feminine energy, and how it serves us. So what does that lead to, right? When you aren't conditioned to value and honor your feminine, well, that leaves you in a place where you're traumatized by men with selfish intentions. Now, don't get me wrong, ladies, we're all adults here, consenting in most cases, and when that happens, you make choices, you make decisions. It is what it is. We'll have to be accountable to that. We'll get to that at the end. But the thing is, if along the way, learning the lessons in life that you have to learn, you're experiencing immature, toxic, unhealthy, unhealed, basically men with selfish intentions. What does that mean? They're not interested in the same thing you are. They're not interested in you and their worth. They are selfish, not self-centered, selfish, because masculine itself is self-centered. We'll cover on that later. But selfish, they're only looking for their needs, their desires, their wants, their preferences, their taste, and anything other than that. They lack the maturity to appreciate and understand and work along with, cooperate, teamwork, partner with anything or anyone that is not just like them. That is a traumatizing experience when it comes to relationship, because this is the safe place. This is the place that we look for peace, that we look for support, that we look for a safe haven, that we look to be held up, that we look to be supported. And especially, I'm talking to my feminine ladies out here, looking to relax, looking to be taken care of, looking to get a hand in all the challenges that come along with life. And if you're going through life experiencing little boys, experiencing fuck boys, maybe you had your fun with the boy toys, and when that fun was over, you're now left holding some baggage. You're now left with some additional challenges that you're going to have to heal and recoup from. Now, what does that tell me, and how does that indicate what happens here? Is that you've never had the tools to discern alignment with your highest truth. Because society has not given you the value of your divine feminine, then having clarity and understanding, no different than my men, my brothers are missing a rite of passage to show us the way of men masculinity. On the other side, when a society forgets about divine femininity, it forgets how to give clear instruction, demonstration, the experience of. There is no matriarch, there are no elder women, ain't even grandmas these days anymore in 2025. But there's no one showing you how to trust your intuition. Something that is so not in the physical, it's in the ether, right? How do you trust your spirit, your gut, your intuition? How do you get in touch with that if it's not appreciated, if it's not honored and respected? So these are the things that when masculine comes along, a grounded masculine man, MGM, that's the standard here, mature, grounded masculine man comes along, you're not ready for him. You're not prepared for him. You don't even know how to respond for him, and you don't have the tools, because your divine feminine is going to give you direction. That intuition is going to talk to you, guide you, and steer you to your highest truth, your highest expression of self. I'll tell you how to get clear on that as well. But these are all the things that you're missing that are needed, foundationally needed, to actually be prepared and be your best self, the best feminine expression of a woman you can be for a masculine man to come along that is worthwhile to submit to and follow. And with that, this also means, ladies, you've been deprived of a healthy example in the household, deprived of witnessing healthy balance between masculine and feminine energy in a relationship, unless you're blessed. And don't get me wrong, don't get me started on the minority communities. Having healthy examples of this, men and women in their masculine and in their feminine, loving each other, appreciating each other with maturity, love, and understanding. I'm telling y'all, my personal opinion is that we are the generation that's going to have to make change. No different than when I was coming up, getting hit with electric cords, racetracks, extension cords, switches, whatever else grandma could get. See, I told you ain't no more grandmas. But getting that ass whooped in line was what we had back in the day. And we're now a generation of, well, let's actually be conscious about this. There's actually impact, trauma, ripple effects to that. And where did it all come from? I'm not going to get into these deeper conversations, but it clearly is an unhealthy pattern. And those, what they call them, generational curses, have to be broken. Well, I'm telling you, in this dating game today, where we are today, we cannot go forward with misunderstanding of these divine energies, masculine and feminine, and the way that they impact our very lives. The dating game, relationships, families, legacy, everything going forward is at risk if we don't break the generational curses to build a solid foundation of healthy, harmonious relationships. That's why I do my work, and I thank you for being here along with me. Last but not least, how does this happen? If you don't have that healthy balance, if you don't have that healthy example, then you're unable to flow and relax into your feminine when needed. Code switching, ladies. If the only thing you've ever learned how to do, ever seen how to do by generations, your mom, your aunt, your grandma, I'm raised by a single mother, I know what these dynamics look like, you don't know how to code switch. The only way you know how to operate is strong, independent woman. That's not your fault. But once you become aware, the more you know, the more you grow. It's time to make a change. It's time to have some choice in what you do. It's no surprise that you don't know how to code switch out. You don't want to run your relationship, your home, your dinner table, your family like you run things in your business, in your job, in your career. It's a different space. Do you want to come home and relax or no? That's what we're talking about here tonight. And lastly, this is going to be that kicker, ladies. I touched on it earlier. You haven't taken accountability for poor choices and doing the work to heal. This is a part of life, ladies. It's not about you. It's not about men. It is the human experience, attachment strategies, trauma bonding, the ways that we learn to receive love, to give love, express love, what to expect coming back, where do we fit into the world, what is our value, all these conversations that we have to grow up. And I don't mean grow up in the sense of your maturity. What I mean is grow up in the sense of your conversations. The conversations you're having with yourself. This is that divine feminine. The first relationship, the most priority relationship is a relationship to yourself. And as you're having conversations, talking to yourself, making yourself a victim, making yourself wrong, not taking accountability for your actions, your choices, taking responsibility in your life, the longer you don't do this, the longer you don't grow. If you don't grow these conversations up, which brings up your maturity, your comprehension. It's not that you are immature, but you're being governed by conversations that were put in place as self-defense mechanisms, walls, masculine protection in your childhood when you were traumatized. And by trauma, it can be a traumatic experience at birth in Western society. It can be a traumatic experience to be at home by yourself and left unattended, or having neglectful parents, or parents that weren't responsive. You see, these are all the early maps and models. Divine masculine, divine feminine, matriarch, patriarch, love, being worthy. All these conversations are stacked. And if you don't take the accountability to do the human healing that we all have to grow up, evolve, mature, and grow through, you'll be stuck in the past, stuck in this type situation, so that when that mature, grounded, masculine, MGM man shows up, you're not ready. You don't know what to do with him. You are not prepared, we'll say, because even getting into a relationship is when the work starts. But we won't get too deep. I'm going to keep it moving right along. Like I said, I want to keep this topic and really get to the good stuff. I really want to empower you and put you in a position. So we're going to take this last 10 minutes and really go deep. And I'm going to give you the solutions, give you the steps. This is what you'll need to get yourself set up and prepared. If you can unlock, dial these things in, I promise you, ladies, drop the comments of your experience, come back and give me feedback on the replay, whatever you need to do, DM me directly. But before we get into those solutions, I need you to do me a favor. If you haven't already, you already know, like, subscribe, thumbs up, spread the word on this message. But definitely, most definitely, do yourself a favor. Go over to the store, pick up a copy of The Dance, Mastering the Rhythm of Love in Modern Dating. This is my own manual, playbook, if you will. These are my step-by-step guides to walk you through getting your personal inner conversations ready for dating and partnership, getting yourself into the game, the actual practice and play of it, knowing how to get what you want, knowing what it is that you want and how to go for it. And then also, even like I said, the work starts once you're in a relationship, how to maintain that and have something that lasts long, going strong. Go pick that up. And without further ado, let's get to the real reason why you came. Let's understand what's going to be needed if you want to be prepared for a mature, grounded, masculine leader who is worthy, ladies, of you following. So let's jump right into that. All right, so what you got to understand, you chose him carefully and you can trust your judgment. Now, this is going to take some work, only because of that malnourished, atrophied, the weak muscle of your divine feminine in its current state. Now, if you know, you know, but unless you've already started doing that work, unless you've already started putting in the reps, maybe you've got a coach, maybe you've got a counselor, maybe you've been researching, you're on YouTube, you're looking up information, TikTok, great resource as well, you're going to have to do some work to get in touch with your intuition. It's not something that you watch a 30-minute video and all of a sudden you got all the solutions, but you're going to have some direction. Once you get in touch with alignment, and I'm going to give you some steps here that help you do that. Alignment is how you properly use your divine feminine. Your divine feminine is your feelings and emotions, ladies. The most powerful thing, and you're always in touch with it, obviously, drawn by your feelings and emotions. It's your language. Your divine feminine uses that as a beacon, as a navigational tool, GPS. So when you're feeling good things, that's going in alignment with your highest truth. That is aligned with your highest purpose. So by highest purpose, I mean your highest self, your ideals. And that is the first step, ladies. Declare your ideals. I want you to visualize, just like a vision board. Maybe you journal it out. But I want you to put effort, intentionality to the future you'd like to live into. Not how to do it. Don't worry about any of that. This is nothing of doing. This isn't masculine work. This is feminine work. This isn't the being. See, as you visualize that future, the future self, who's your best self? What does she look like? How does she go through life? How does she feel? How does she interact with others? What are her relationships like? With family, with community, with friends? What is her social life like? That's an ideal. When you feel your way into an experience of life, femininity answers the question, what is life? When you feel your way into an experience of life and it feels good, down in your spirit, down in your soul, it gives you peace, it gives you happiness, it gives you joy, it gives you smiles, it gives you laughter, that is an alignment. Follow those emotions and they will lead you in the right direction. When you feel the opposite of that, when you feel that missing, when it's lack, when it's scarcity, when it's pain, when it's frustration, when it's anxiety, when it's fear, run away. That is your intuition. Your intuition is telling you where the threats are, telling you what to look out for. If you were to imagine just like the MCU multiverse, this is your ability to look in all directions, all lanes, all roads. And when you come to that fork in the road to make a decision, do I pursue this way, that way, left, right? Do I or don't I? Do I hold back? Do I move forward? Your divine feminine, your intuition, with your ideals, the declaration of what you want, the type of man you want, type of career you want, type of position you want, type of car you want, where you want to live, all your visualizations, all your ideals. As you have that laid out, you then have clarity so that your emotions can guide you. so that your intuition can tell you if you're on the right path. After you lay out those ideals, the next step you're going to do is broadcast. Broadcast what resonates. Feel it, ladies. This isn't just affirmations. This isn't just the power of positive thinking. You actually want to get into the emotion. You actually want to feel the experience of a day in that life. Having that man to wake up next to you, cooking a meal, raising kids together, traveling, whatever it looks like for you, your ideal, and then broadcast that energy, that feeling, put that energy out. Have you ever listened to any type of marketing, really? Even here on YouTube, they're going to show you ads that they feel are applicable. You're on the web, they're going to have pop-ups. You listen to the radio. Broke, had a car accident, it's all broadcasting messages, energy. One thing you're going to want to do is take responsibility for that. So purge your social feeds, purge the marketing messages that you're exposed to, and start broadcasting your ideals. Take time every day to ruminate, to actually feel what it feels like to live your ideal life. And once you get used to that feeling and putting out that energy, you're attracting it to you. When it shows up and that navigation is telling you left or right, if it feels right, it's good. Otherwise, it needs to get left. Get rid of it. That's how you utilize this tool. So whenever you're experiencing men, to bring it all back full circle, how to find that masculine lead that is worth submitting to, you're qualifying him from alignment with your divine feminine. Now, I say all this is the first step. Why? Because you're going to need to practice trust in order to follow a masculine lead, in order to submit. The submission is trusting in the leadership. Now, please, ladies, if you can hear past all of your triggers, all of your traumas, all the past bullshit, all the conversations that you have about the immature, not ready, ain't about nothing, whatever experiences you've had, with your ideal in mind, with the man that would be worth following, please understand, when he shows up, he's already living his life. He's already leading a life worth living, which is why you want to follow, because he's already leading. He's already a leader. He's already got things in place. He's already resourceful. He's the ready-made man. You're going to need to trust in his leadership. When it comes to teamwork, which a relationship is, whoever's making the executive choices and decisions, taking in consideration for the larger whole, the larger entity, taking your concerns and everything in mind. But when he makes those choices and decisions, the final decision, this is what we're going to do. You have to trust to submit. If there's no trust, if you cannot submit, it'll be insubordinate. It'll be two bumping heads. A house divided is a house fallen. You're over before you started. So I hope you can hear and relate to and pull out this first piece to trust yourself that you chose him based off of your ideals, what you said you wanted, what you declared, the frequency, the feeling, the emotion that you gave out. And when this man shows up and he aligns and you feel that in your spirit, he's qualified over all the rest, separating the men from the boys based off of what you want, based off of your intuition, based off of your divine guidance. And when you trust that divine power, you can trust him to submit to his leadership and follow a masculine, grounded man. Now, here's the next part. Let me break down the psychology. We started with you. Now, let me get you to the good stuff, because in that qualification, I know, you're already, well, who said, and you can't always, and not everybody deserves. Yes. But again, we're talking about your ideals. Let me tell you why you want to be prepared to submit to this man. Because he leads by submitting to a higher authority. That's a demonstration of something. Masculine goes first. Masculine leads energy. Masculine energy leads. Feminine energy follows. And masculine leads in the way of demonstration. Masculine leads in the way of action in the physical. And he is leading by demonstration. I already said it. Leading his own life. He's leading by submitting to a higher authority. This demonstrates order. It demonstrates a sense of connectedness to something bigger, larger than just self. Self-centered, yes, that's masculine in nature. Who am I? Everything else is chaos, swirling, unknown. I am certain, I am grounded. Who am I? With that, it is submitted to a higher power. There's order to that. There's punishment inside of that. There's guidelines. There's morals. He is submitting to something. And I'm spiritual, so no religion, but whatever fits for you. He submits to something that you can understand, that you can vibe with, that you can give your vote to, and you align with. And with that, you choose to submit to his authority. Again, this is order. See, this is a larger conversation. There's more maturity. This ain't submit because he's got a penis, because he's a man, because he showed up, because he pays some bills and make money. No. You're submitting to a leader. The things if you really pay attention and listen to things that I am talking to, a leader is mature, grounded, masculine. Leader, nobody wants to be a leader. It's not so much of a privilege, really and truly, if we're honest about it. Nobody wants to be the one to put the extra effort in. It's not just privilege. You can want to be a king or queen all day, but it doesn't just mean people kiss your ass. It means you have to show up in leadership. It means you have to be responsible for things. The context of this whole submission, he submits to a higher authority, accepting that he's a piece of the puzzle. He's not God's gift to humanity. He showed up in the channel of things. People came before him. That's what that submission is all about. And so if he submits to something, you can submit to him and trust that in the same way he leads and demonstrates. Why did I point to all that? Order, punishment, guidelines, morals. These are all boundaries. These are all containment. That if he is submitting to follow something, you submitting to him, it keeps everything in the same container. So everything that he submits to, he believes in. Hell, if he's atheist, if that's what you're down with, you can follow into what his lead is. But it's going to be specific for you, your ideals. So what's the next thing? He leads by living for more than himself. His lane and his responsibilities. Maybe he's a father, maybe he's got kids. Maybe he gives back to a community. Maybe he thinks in context that, yes, I'm ready for a relationship. I'm ready for some legacy. I'm ready to have some kids. I'm thinking about more than myself. Not just feed myself, not just satisfy my needs, my desires, my wants, but actually thinking about others in mind, his community, his family, his children, his partner, all these things, or the bigger world, if he has a picture, if he has a purpose already in place. But what that means for you is you can trust and accept that he has your best interests in mind. He's executing with you in consideration. Again, nobody wants to be the leader. The leader's got all the pressure. Now, I will tell you, masculine energy thrives in that shit. Masculine energy thrives in producing, being of use, being of service, in a healthy way. So when he does that, again, the submission, the following, because you know he's got you in mind, because he's had the conversation, baby, how you feel, what you think. And get into the good stuff. He's mature enough to appreciate your divine feminine and will instill in you how valuable it is. Tell me your thoughts, baby. What do you think about this? I'm bouncing these ideas around. Do you think that, and he's looking for that muse, that whisper, that gentle nudge to point him in the right direction. Now, not that he's taking your instruction, but he'll take your concerns into consideration. He'll take your input into his choices and decisions. It's a sign of leadership. He has a vision and sees purpose in building legacy and giving to others, family, and community. Ladies, do you hear what I'm talking about? Please hope you understand. This is not some old programming. This is not some antiquated conversation. I'm not pointing to just because he has a penis, just because he's a man, just because he pays bills. None of that. I'm talking about, are you ready? Have you thought about this part? If you say you're out to have a masculine man, a man that leads, and if he's leading, you're following. Are you ready to submit? Are you ready to follow a leader? Let's dive deeper. Let me give you these last steps and get you out of here. He's leading both of you on behalf of the whole. I talked about that earlier. Taking in the boundaries, the containment, and all that. He submits to a higher power because that higher power is the pillar holding up his world. He's grounded into that higher power, higher spirit. What came first? The bigger picture. So the way that works is that he's also now leading complaints, problems, drama. That stuff goes up the chain of command. So he's taking all that in the leadership role. Again, nobody wants to be a leader, but he's taking all that on behalf of. Here's the kicker: if you understand and appreciate, remember I talked about opposites, he appreciates your feminine. You appreciate his masculine, he's grounded, stoic, unbothered by his emotions. Doesn't mean he does not have them. Just make sure he's healthy, make sure he's healed, make sure he's done the work on his end. He can get in touch with them, but they do not control him. And that gives you the realm, the freedom to enjoy your divine feminine and flow with your emotions and do what you are naturally designed to do. Because there is a place for that. But he can lead, contain, handle all of that. And get this, he doesn't do it just because he's a man. He's got emotions and shit too. He does it because he's a leader. He does it because I can brush these emotions off and not let it mean shit, but I can listen for what's the best thing for our relationship. Not what I want, not what you want, but what do we need to move forward? That's a leader. And he does that on behalf of, he feels his emotions, contains your emotions, and comes to the table ready to address and lead us through what we need to move forward and grow. Ladies, this is a leader. When that shows up, you best be ready, because if he's putting in this work, he's not going to have the patience to deal with the trauma and baggage left behind from the boy toys, jokers, fuckboys, and anything else that led you to the point that you can't see and value him as much as he sees and values you. So with that, you can also trust and choose to put the relationship over yourself and your emotions alone. Do you get that? Following the leader. He's already shown up, putting us before him. And so inside of that, it gives the example and the opportunity. Ladies, I'm talking to lifelong commitment. This pee in the dating pool, divorce rates, lack of children, all the things that we're dealing with in our current modern dating environment. If we're going to go the distance, don't get me wrong, it doesn't need to be the unhealthy till death do us part just because we're married, found somebody, stick with them, deal with whatever abuse, injustice. No. But again, if you're picking, if you're following alignment, if he's demonstrating good signs of leadership, you're submitting and putting the relationship over your emotions, because he's put the relationship over his emotions, and you two are unified in a mastermind, in a jointed, under the eyes of God type shit, because that strength spiritually of two coming together merged into one, both with the same mindset for the same priorities of the union. When you finally make that's some lifelong shit. You're going to have to submit and follow to go along with it. And I'm telling you the ways that he's already got you covered and why it's okay to do this. But if you haven't tackled these conversations, if you can't dare put your emotions aside, if you've got to be happy and that's all that matters, well, shit, that's one side of the coin. What about the other side? What about the kids? What about the family? What about the community? This is legacy building. These are tribes and villages. I'm not talking about some kiddie shit. We're not playing house over here. You feel me? Let's go. Last but not least, ladies, he leads a life that creates a legacy. This is why I really had to underline that last point, because when it is something that you can really put your vote behind, that you can get on board with, when he is the man and leader that causes you to submit, and maybe you haven't experienced this yet, but I promise you it's out there. Again, your alignment. If it's your ideal, it exists. You can dream it, you can achieve it, but you got to put out that energy towards it. But when you find and encounter this man, and you will know, you can choose to multiply. Femininity multiplies. Whatever. Where that attention goes, energy flows, and the femininity multiplies what you put that focus into. Turn a house into a home, take his seed, turn it into a life. You choose to multiply his values, his beliefs, his trajectory. It's an easy button. He's already got the vision. He's already looking out for the legacy. He's already looking out for the family and the kids. He's already looking out for you. He's already looking out for the us. He's got vision. Said biblically, father of many nations. This is some chief type shit. Chief of the tribe and village. And when he shows up with that type of legacy mindset, it'll be a no-brainer. You'll want to pour into that. That's an easy button. Get on his campaign. You're taken care of. The kids are taken care of. The last name for generations, legacies are taken care of. Ladies, that's all I got for you. Drop the comments. Drop the questions so I can get you on next week's video. Make sure hit that thumbs up. Make sure hit that like. Share it with somebody who needs to hear this message. And in the meantime, I'm going to be right here, being the best version of myself one could say, beyond the power. Question is, ladies, who are you going to be? Peace. TikTok, holla at your boy next week. YouTube, I'm out.